Hey everyone, Shashank this side. I hope you all are doing well today and safe at home. As you can see on my screen, topic for today is AWS Directory Services. So basically we'll be going to discuss regarding Active Directory Services provided by Amazon, right? Now in our day-to-day world, we generally deal a lot with our Active Directory scenarios where in general term we can say a user and group or policy management done by domain directory services, right? Where we create our own domain, let's say abc.com. Within that domain, we create certain number of OUs, which is organizational unit. Inside that, we create sub OUs, some for managed services, some for infrastructure, some for other teams as well, and provide access to log into our environment or do a policy set of management as well from Active Directory. The same thing has been created within Amazon Web Services where they call it as directory services, and they provide us some sort of different option where you can create your own AD, you can create a connector between your on-prem and AWS cloud, just create like your authentication mechanism and rest of the other stuff. So I have jotted down few points regarding directory services within Amazon. Let's go through that and I'll show you the options that what we get from Amazon while creating or configuring your directory services. So AWS Directory Services offers multiple identity management solutions for Amazon, such as AWS Microsoft AD, AD Connector, or Simple AD to basically suit the different use cases as per our requirement. As I said, you can create your own Microsoft AD, you can create a connector which acts like a proxy, you can create a Simple AD. Totally depends upon the requirement that what we have in our environment, right? Each offering solves a different part of problem for an IT admin, DevOps engineer in managing users to AWS resources. So Microsoft AD is built on actual Microsoft AD and doesn't require you to synchronize or replicate data from your existing Active Directory to the cloud. So that's one of the best thing when you have Microsoft AD within Azure. It's a managed Microsoft AD which works basically on actual Microsoft AD, right? So you don't have to synchronize or replicate data from your existing environment to your AWS cloud. You can use standard AD administration tools as well to check your AD services, to check your DNS services and rest of the other stuff, and take an advantage to have a built-in AD features such as group policies or single sign-on concept. So as part of the single sign-on concept, I showed you with my previous videos how you can integrate your Azure Active Directory to AWS SSO, right? So I created the scenario within Azure Active Directory where I created some users, some groups, and assigned role and permission based upon that, and sync those users with the help of SAML authentication to AWS single sign-on. It's the same way. The Active Directory concept remains same across the board. It's just the level of functionality has been more as per the different cloud vendors. What are the benefits that we are getting? We are getting easily migration directory services from your on-prem workload to your AWS cloud. It's a simple configuration that you can do in a quick way. You can use actual Microsoft Active Directory. Actually, you are using an actual Microsoft AD within this premises as well. Easily extend your existing domains, plus centrally you can manage application access and devices within AWS. Simplify your administration in managed services. So like there are like few sorts of benefits. Obviously it's easy management, you can centrally manage your applications access as well, plus your AWS account access. If you want to integrate everything with your Active Directory within Amazon, you can do that. So those sort of things comes as part of the benefits, right? So that's how the directory services within Amazon has been designed. Now let's see the workflow of directory services. So we have AWS Directory Services where you can create multiple or manage directory, where you get multiple options like creating AD connector or creating a simple AD or a Microsoft Manage AD. You can easily deploy your own application within your AWS cloud, or if you want to migrate from on-prem and integrate with your AWS, you can do that as well. You can also use different services within AWS to integrate with directory services, plus creation of user group management and managing access across the workload within AWS services, you can easily do as well. Plus, you can connect and use your application and services with existing new Active Directory credentials. So this is again, as I said, the concept or the funda of your directory services remains same. It's just the level of functionality that has been added to Amazon Web Services is good to use. Now, I hope this clears in terms of the theoretical concept why we need AWS Directory Services. So let's jump to our AWS Management Console and I'll show you how you can configure your directory services. Okay, so I'm into my AWS Management Console. Click on Services, search for Directory Services. Okay, host and manage your Active Directory. Click on that. And again, this is regional in nature. This is not global in nature. So make sure you design your Active Directory within Amazon in such a way that it should affect your region to region, right? Okay, so let's wait for a few seconds. This will come up for sure. So this is our directory services. Let's click on the dashboard. Yeah. Directory service help you to store your information and manage access to the resources. Now set up your directory. You have multiple options: AWS Manage, Microsoft AD, Simple AD, AD Connector. Then we have Amazon Cognito, User Pools, and Cloud Directory. So for this particular video, let me show you something. Click on Setup Directory. Now, as you can see, we are getting four options. Microsoft Manage AD, you can see the description. It's basically a Microsoft Active Directory only. You can easily enable your Active Directory aware workloads and AWS resources to manage your actual AD in AWS Cloud. You can integrate this one with multiple services within AWS like RDS, your .NET applications, your Amazon workspaces, and all those stuff. If we click on Simple AD, Simple AD is basically a standalone managed directory that is powered by Linux Samba Active Directory compatible server. So this is a small server that hosts your Active Directory, right? Connector. So connector, as I said, it works as a proxy for redirecting your directory requests from existing Microsoft AD, which is on your on-prem, or AWS cloud without caching any information in your cloud. Okay, so for example, if you want to use your on-prem AD and you want to have an authentication within AWS cloud hosted provider, then you can use AD connector to do the authentication mechanism. The fourth one is Cognito user pools. With the user pools, you can add user registration, sign-in features to your application. So this is totally a different concept. Amazon Directory Services has been added with this particular option recently. I'm not say recently, I guess last year they added it, but it was not there before. We had only three options. The top three was present earlier. Now, I don't have any on-prem AD, or I'm not going to create a manage Microsoft AD. The process is quite similar that you can create. I'm going for simple AD. Click next because I don't have a big enterprise environment, but I'll show you the configuration setup. Now you will get two options, small and large. Small, you can see it's 36 USD per month. Small directories can have up to 2000 objects, including nearly 500 users and groups and computers. When it comes to the large section, the directory size, if you go with the large, it's $108 per month, and it's like mostly 0.1500 per hour. Large directories can have up to 20,000 objects, including nearly 5,000 users. Now here you have to give the directory name. For example, let's go cloud and cloud. Let's go take in a cloud view. That's my domain. I'm going to create that domain. Directory NetBIOS name is optional, so I'm going to leave that. Here is the admin password that it's asking for, so let's give admin password. Okay, now you can give the description, this which is optional again. Click next. Oh, let's go with the small one. Click next. Now, you have to deploy your directory services within a VPC, right? So let's select my VPC, and the preferences would be always a private subnet. I don't have any private subnet created, so I'm going for public so that I can show you at least how the configuration works. Make sure you deploy your directory services within private subnets. Click next. And this is the configuration. You are getting 30-day of trial, which is basically free, comes under free trial version. So create directory. Okay, this will be going to take bit of time. Meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll show you the other options. Click on AWS Manage Microsoft AD. It's the same configuration that you'll be going to get an option Standard Edition and Enterprise. You can see the costing plus 1 gig of storage for directory objects, 30,000 objects, and we have $86 per month nearby. Same with the Enterprise, you are getting 17 gigs, optimization up to 500,000 objects with $288 per month. So for example, let's select a standard enterprise and the domain name. Let's go take in cloudyway2.com. It's 2.com. It's the same configuration that what we have done with the simple AD. Okay, click next. Click next, and again you have to select VPCs. It has to be private, please make sure that, and then you have to click on create directory. This is also you are getting 30-day of trial version, which is eligible for free tier, but you have to check few of the things. Click cancel. Now this is getting created. This will take like nearby 5 minutes to set up the directory. Even let's go with the third option, AD connector. Click next. It's the same configuration that you have to do for each of the directory services, small or large, you have to give. So click here. You are not specifying the directory name because we'll be going to use the on-prem AD, right? So click next. Same VPC configuration and public two subnets. Why two subnets? Just to make sure it is highly available in nature. Now here you have to give your active directory, on-prem active directory domain name, for example abc.com, example.com. Then you have to give the DNS IP address that you want to reach to, then the service account name on which you want to configure, a password and confirm password. Click next. You will be able to create this AD connector. So make sure for AD connector you have to use the existing on-prem AD DNS name or the domain name basically. So that's the third option for creating your active directories. Now you can share your active directory as well. I mean the directory that you have created you can share. So let's say if I want to share this directory to another region, so let's click on directory shared with me. So as of now obviously nothing has shared with me, but let's select this one, click on actions. You see the options is share your directory. As of now it's in the creating state, so that's why that is disabled. So once that is enabled, I'll show you the options for sharing the directory. Now I'm going to pause my video because this will take a bit of time, so I don't want to waste your time to watching my screen. Once this is available, then I'll resume it back. So our directory services is active now. You can see the status has been changed from creating to active. Let's go inside this directory ID. Okay, so what are the information that we are getting? This VPC and subnets that what we have selected, when was last updated, the launch time, availability zones, your directory DNS, and the DNS addresses, right? Because of the two subnets that we have selected. If you scroll it down, you will get application management where basically you can create your work docs. So I haven't covered work docs, so I'm not going to cover that now because that's totally a different topic altogether. And AWS Apps and Services, you can use AWS Client VPN. default it is disabled in nature, but yeah, you can use any of these applications just for your purposes, right? Plus AWS management console, the user login, session length and all those things, it's basically 1 hour and you can edit those stuff as well. Okay, the next step, whether our directory service is working fine or not, what we'll be going to do, we'll create an instance and we'll try to attach that to our domain. Let's go techincloudy.com. So for that, let's move to EC2. Okay, yeah. So I'm into my EC2 management console. Let's try to provision one Windows instance, for example. Okay, let's launch an instance. Click launch and then we'll select our Windows server. It can be 2016, can be 2019 or 2012, regardless of any. So go with the free tier and click 2019 base. I'm going with micro. Come on. Configure an instance. Now select my VPC subnet. I'll enable this public IP. Now here is an option where you get directory ID. So like there are like two options that how you can join your directory. Once you enable this, you need an IAM role as well, because from launching console, if you select domain join directory, then you have to enable IAM role as well. So I'm not going to do that. And the basic background mechanism, once you select this, SSM will work into picture where it will try to join your server to a domain in background. So that's a different logic altogether. I'm not going to do that. Click add storage. Next. Now name this as domain test. Configure the security group. Okay, I'm not going to use this one. Let's use this one. All over the world. Click launch and click launch. Okay, again this will be going to take bit of time to provision. This is in micro Windows instance, so that takes bit of time. I'm going to pause this video again and resume it once this is available. Okay, server is available. I have connected to the server. Let's go to server manager and we'll try to connect this to a domain. This will take bit of time because this is a micro instance, so obviously that will be on the slower side of the house. And this is 2019. So let's go to local server, click on workgroup, change and click on domain. Our domain is let's go techincloudyway.com. Click OK. Okay, so before that, what we have to do, we have to allow this computer to talk to that directory's DNS ID. So for that, let's go to network and we'll try to change our network properties. Sorry, not this one. Change adapter option. Okay, so here let's go to properties and IPv4. Click properties and here we have to give our DNS value. Use the following IP address, or I would say let's use this one, the preferred DNS server. So you remember like with DNS we received two of the IP addresses, 10.2.0.14, 10.2.0.36. So let's add that. 10.2.0.14, 10.2.0.14, and the second one is 10.2.0.36. I guess it's 36 only. Yes, perfect. Let's click OK, close this as well. Let's try to change the domain. Now we have only one user that we have created, which is admin. So let's give the password for that. Click OK. Incorrect username or password. I guess it's administrator, and password is this. Click OK. Welcome to the domain let's go tech in a cloudyway.com. Click OK. This will be going to reboot the server. Close, restart now. Perfect. So our domain is working fine. So server is up. Let's go inside the server and we'll install few tools related to Active Directory. So let's go to server manager and I'll show you, this will show the status of the domain join server. Close this. This is the server name and the work group has been changed to our domain. Let's go tech in a cloudyway.com. So let's go to manage, add roles and features. Okay, still refreshing the repo, so come on. So this is a micro server, that's why it takes a bit of time to show up. Yeah, that's fine. Installation, server selection, roles. Now here we have, so you can install your DNS server, you can install your AD services, which as of now I don't want to do that. So let's go to features and we have something called tools, remote server administration tool. Click on that, feature administration, and here we have, okay, so sorry, role administration, yeah, ADDS, and we can select DNS server tool as well. You can configure Active Directory certificate tools, Active Directory right management service. You can select all those stuff, whatever you required. I need to have something to do with remote desktop services as well, so I'm going to install that because I have some work to complete. So I'll be using this server to do that. You can add DHCP server tool as well. So as of now, that should be fine enough. Click next, install. Now again, this will be going to take a bit of time to install as this is micro. So before this gets installed, I just wanted to take you back to our AWS Directory Services. As we know, like our Active Directory domain is working fine, so you can create your own users, you can create sub OUs, OUs, and for example, you want to have provision server within certain groups, you can create that, move that to from computers to that particular group, reboot the server, it will start affecting that particular environment as well. So all the servers from now onwards, if you provision it, you will be able to add those servers to this particular domain, which means our domain is working fine. If you want to use to reset a password of a user, you can do it from here. This is for the administrator console or the admin password that I'm talking about. Okay, let's go back here and we'll wait for a few more seconds this to complete because it's in almost completed now. So that's basically how you do the configuration when it comes to AWS Directory Services. I showed you all the three versions where how you can do the setup of the configuration, because the level of configuration is quite simple enough, but the difference only comes with your AD connector where you have to define your on-prem AD or Azure AD or the AD that you want to use as a primary resource. So you have to give the domain name, the IP addresses of your DNS, and rest you will start migrating or you'll start authenticating from the other AD to AWS Cloud hosted application. So this is installed. Click close. Okay, so now if you go to search for Active Directory, okay, Active Directory domain and trust, Active Directory users and computer, let's click on that. To manage this, click OK. Here we go. Now you see this there is a cross sign because I have logged into this particular server with the local administrator user, which doesn't have rights to work with the domain controller. So let's log off and log in with our domain user so that we'll be able to see our environment of Active Directory. Okay, so let's minimize this. My system is a bit slow today, sorry guys for that. Okay, so finally it came up and let's edit the administrator password, which is updated now. Let's log in with domain administrator. Okay, so let's click. I have updated the password to domain administrator. It's allowed me to negotiate with the credential. Seems credential is not correct. Okay, so for that I need to do one more change. Let's go tech in cloudyway.com. That's the domain administrator and password. Click OK. It's trying to connect and it's finally connected. Perfect. So you have to obviously give your domain / username. Then it will take your administrator or the user account of the domain. Okay, now it's doing setup, the personalized setups in background for that particular user, and this will be done within like few seconds for sure. Here we go, it's already up. Now let's go ahead and open our Active Directory. Okay, Active Directory, users and computers. Okay, it's just a second, it will come up for sure. If not, let's do it again. Active Directory, users and computers. Okay, so here we go. We have our domain. Let's go techincloudyway.com. Inside this, what we are getting by default, users, computers. So if you go to the computers, you will see this particular computer name. Built-in domain controllers. We don't have any domain controller. So if you want to provision a domain controller, you can do that. You can create number of OUs. So these are called OUs. Inside that, you can create sub OUs, and based upon that you can try to structure your Active Directory objects within your this particular managed services. So I hope this clears a lot in terms of the theoretical concept of directory services within AWS. What are the options that we are getting within AWS to create your Active Directory, plus how to do a configuration setup within directory service of AWS, how you can join your server to the created domain, plus what are the tools that you require to check whether your Active Directory is working fine or not, like user management and group management and all those stuff. So that's it guys for this particular video. I hope you liked it, and try out on your account, try to show this to your management if you're not using Active Directory services from Amazon. If you're totally loaded on Amazon Web Services, I would recommend to use this. Migrate your on-premise AD to AWS account, or even if you want to use on-premise AD, then use AD connector with the same configuration setup, where you have to give your like domain ID and DNS IPs just to make the sync happening, the authorization happening from one side to the another side of the house. If you're facing an issue, please place out a comment in comment section. I'll be there to help you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.